Gazzetta, Football Italia, from Paul Gascoigne's house. Cue titles. Well, things seem to be still going well. Scored another great goal on Sunday, really pleased with it, and things are going quite well. But more about this later. First this.
Coming up, a rare trip to Brescia to see their 4-goal thriller with Genoa. James Richardson goes behind the headlines to bring us all the week's news. Every goal from last Sunday's Serie A matches. There's your chance to win a trip to the Italian Cup final and an old-style club shirt. Watch the Italian club's progress in Europe. Gazzetta rounds up his news of another busy week. There's a special look at the top sides in Serie A B. And the views of Toto Scalacci and other Interstars as they take on Gazza's Lazio in tomorrow's big live game.
Well, things are really going well here at Lazio. Everyone's still having fun. Well, still getting good results. We've only been beaten 3 times this season, so we're really looking forward to the match against Inter. But here are some of the highlights of a very, very tough game.
Well, after knocking Liverpool out of last season's UEFA Cup, Genoa were expected to find a niche amongst Italy's most exclusive football clubs, but their end-of-term report come Christmas will read should be doing better. Genoa playing from right to left in this first half. They have possession with their number 7, Bortolazzi. There's the Romanian coach of Brescia, Tutti Lucescu. Another lateral pass, picking out Padovano. Scoravi! Drove it into the turf instead of driving it into the net. And he applauds the cross. It was accurate and true, and that should have resulted in the first goal of the match to Genoa. Got well over the ball, but too well over it in fact. Rossi. Here's Radu Choyo. That's a fine ball. Now can he supply across? Saurini's waiting in the middle. Misdirects his header and might come all the way through to Radu Choyo again. Ran out of space, but that easily the best chance of the game for Brescia. Saurini got his geography all wrong. And Gigi Maifredi knows his team lucky still to be level at 0-0. We're in. Bortolazzi spreading play wide to the right. Scoravi flicked it on, but headed clear by the Brescia defence. Rossi quickly across. I think it's worth mentioning that Genoa haven't won an away game since February the 9th. That's 12 matches on their travels. But they've won themselves a free kick here for that foul on Padovano. Here's the instant again. Padovano tried to turn, and he certainly had his ankle whacked there by Hagi. Bortolazzi with a free kick. It was a peculiar diving header by Scoravi. Did it come off his shoulder? Just about made contact. Padovano. Negro helping it. Was foul. Free kick to Genoa. Padovano scored what proved to be the winning goal last week against Torino. 5 this season. And now Bortolazzi will line himself up for this free kick. It's a venomous strike. Oh, that wasn't too far away. Seems to have injured himself in taking the free kick. Dipped and swerved and almost found the top left-hand corner of the net. Scaravi battling it out in midfield. Actually calling for the ball on this left-hand side. Rossi. Hagi has it now, and is stolen in behind the Genoa defence. Raducioiu, 1-0! That goal was made in Romania. Hagi to Raducioiu, the two Romanian internationals combined effectively, and Brescia at last have the lead. Splendid skill by Raducioiu to take it wide of Garicala. And Raducioiu, who's only scored twice this season, one of those. Scaravi got the flick on, couldn't find a teammate. Rossi facing the wrong way. It's a good deal more composure now about Brescia. Hagi, that's brilliantly done. Saurini. Hagi again. Now can he find a colleague? Brescia looking for a second goal. They have it! Raducioiu with his second of the game! He's doubled his goal tally for the season in the space of 15 minutes. Scored the winner against Pescara earlier this season and could well have scored a goal to settle this game. It was almost a carbon copy of the first Brescia goal. Hagi again supplied the cross, and Raducioiu was in the 6-yard box where it counted. Bortolazzi. Branco's taken up a good position wide on the left. Bortolazzi. Panucci. 2-1. Padovano scores his 6th of the season. It's a clinically simple goal, and Genoa are back in this match. There were several blue-shirted players standing and watching then as Genoa exchanged passes inside the last third of the field. Here's the goal again. Everyone was expecting a shot by Panucci. It was a clever little pass, and watch out for the positioning here of Padovano, number 11. His free header puts Genoa back into the game. And it's Genoa who build again from the back, still chasing another goal to draw themselves level with Brescia, who lead by 2-1. It looks like a foul by Negro. And Padovano. 10 minutes for Genoa to find this equalising goal. Branco's come forward again, number 14, to the right of your picture. Now, will Branco whip a low free kick into the Brescia penalty area, or will he aim for the head of Scaravi? First of all, he wants the Brescia defender to retreat a few more yards. It's aimed in high. That's a terrific header by Panucci. The equaliser by Arco. 2-2. They're level at last. And a young 18-year-old scores his first goal in Serie A. And it's one he won't forget for a long time. Panucci caused all sorts of problems with this header, which rattled the crossbar. And there was Arco to follow up, to place the ball into an unguarded net. Marangon, the substitute. Well, he claims a throw, but it goes the way of Genoa. Who quite clearly have the mundane ambition now of just digging in for the final few seconds and leaving with a point. Scaravi, dispossessed. Skinardi helps it clear, only as far as Bortolazzi. Panucci. Padovano. Interesting ball in towards Arco. His presence almost earned his side a corner. More importantly for Arco, his header seems to have earned his side a point. That was cleverly done, wasn't it? Oh, it's all over. It ends level at 2-2. 2 goals by Radu Choyu for Brescia, not enough to win this game. Final score 2-2.
And all the rest of the Serie A goals to come. But first, James Richardson with all the news of the week.
Good morning. An awful lot seems to have happened this week, so let's get straight on with it. First port of call, as per usual, is AC Milan, the league champions. Now they, as you may recall, had a pretty disappointing draw with Udinese last Sunday, but as the Messaggero points out, even when Milan don't win, they win. And what they're talking about is the fact that all of the team's main rivals, Inter, Sampdoria, Juventus, they all managed to lose last Sunday. And so the league champions extended their lead at the top of Serie A to 5 points. The calm, however, wasn't to last. On Tuesday, the papers were filled with headlines like, Gullit poisons Milan. Gullit, a return full of poison. And indeed, Gullit accuses everybody. What has the Dutchman been up to? Well, last week he gave a very direct interview indeed to Dutch magazine New Review, in which he said things like, this club treats me with no respect at all. They bought 2 other players, Papan and Savicevic, telling them I was to be sold, and now I have to pay the price. Capello treats me like a cretin. This is still Gullit talking, by the way. He doesn't even have the nerve to tell me to my face when I'm not going to play. This is referring to the now famous incident when Capello boarded the team bus bound for the Juventus game and found Gullit there. What on earth are you doing here, he said. Didn't you know that you're not supposed to be playing? Well, he didn't. No one at the club had told him. The club apologises for the incident, but Gullit says it's not the first time it's happened. And he's now responded with this interview. That's it, he says, I'm off at the end of the season, and there's little doubt about that now. The club is furious with him. There's no fine as yet for the player, but any more outbursts like that one, and he'll be out of the playing roster until the end of the season. Let's just hope they manage to tell him this time. The bad news continued for Milan, with the news that after Gullit cries Papin. This from Bernard Tapie, the owner of Olympique Marseille, who says that he had Papin in tears on the phone to him last week, talking about the situation at Milan. The paper adds that Papin is preparing his escape from the club, and that Paris Saint-Germain are now their hot favourites to sign the French hero. Well, this story is just one of many refereeing curiosities that has pushed the good people of Pescara over the edge. The last straw came against Lazio on Sunday, when the Roman team won at the very last moment with a more than slightly dubious goal. The Gazzetta dello Sport summed it up best. Ghost goal, Pescara get mad, and mad indeed they've got. President Scibilia of the club declaring on Monday that there seems to be a plot in the league to send his club back down to Serie B. One too many Oliver Stone movie, you might think, but they're serious at Pescara. Their fan club has actually taken out legal proceedings for fraud against Paolo Casarin, the president of the referees. Against him, they cite bad refereeing decisions in the games against Foggia, Genoa, Inter, Fiorentina, Lazio, of course. They're asking for £3.5 million in compensation, plus the reimbursement of their season ticket costs. Well, ghost goal or not, the most spectacular piece of play in Sunday's Pescara-Lazio game was undoubtedly this amazing run by Paul Gascoigne. And this is a bit of film which I suspect you'll be seeing again before the end of today's programme. Paul is now so popular here in Italy that he receives 1,000 pieces of mail a week, which explains for a start why he never responds to my letters. His goal on Sunday was voted as best of the week in the Gazzetta dello Sport by none other than Inter legend Sandro Mazzola. Gascoigne beyond Tomba, they say. The Englishman of Lazio slaloms 5 adversaries as if they were poles on a ski slope, and they give us this handy drawing as well. However, Gazza's stroke of genius wasn't quite good enough to get goal of the week on Domenica Sportiva, Italian television's Sunday night roundup. That honour went instead to Lejos Datari of Ancona with a spellbinding effort, which we're not actually going to show you. Well, not until after the break. That's when we'll have our Serie A goals roundup, and along with that we'll have European Cup action and a competition.
Welcome back. Our competition and Gazza's week to come. But first, Gary Bloom with his first roundup of last Sunday's Serie A action.
Inter were the first visitors of Ancona at their new Del Cornero Stadium, and Lejos Datari was eager to cut the ribbon. How about this for an opening goal? Despite the wet conditions, the Hungarian international produces a goal of exceptional quality. Datari does well to drag the ball out of the wet. Inter, unbeaten in their last 5 matches, were still without Schillaci and Rubin Sosa, which gave Darko Panchev his 3rd consecutive start. Michilo denying him here. Well, now for the incident which changed the course of the game. Wet conditions halted Ferry's attempted back pass, and Walter Zenga's hasty exit from his goal was met by an early exit from the game. Inter were down to 10 men. Zenga was all wrung out. We've witnessed in recent weeks the athleticism of young goalkeeper Michilo. Here he is again, falling first to Agostini and then the German Sammer. The former Juventus youth goalkeeper seems to protect his goal with the aid of springs in the end of his studs. Inter ended the first half with a flourish, but no goals. The fast-flowing game continued in the second half. Datari's corner was almost converted by Mazzarano. At the other end, a similar incident produced this effort from Battistini. But with a quarter of an hour to go, Ancona killed off Inter's hopes of a point. Datari again with another splendid strike. The Hungarian is enjoying his 3rd season in Italy, but has never struck such a rich vein of form. It's his 8th goal of the season. Great weather for Ducks, great weather for Datari. With 6 minutes left, Inter's misery was complete. Pagani's woeful control allowed Datari to dance his way into the penalty area before Lupo bagged his 3rd of the season. If anyone deserved the honour of a hat-trick, then it was Datari. One wonders why a player of his rare quality is not parading his talent with a more prestigious side. Remember, Datari's on loan from 2nd Division Bologna. It finished 3-0 to Ancona for their 3rd win of the season. Napoli hadn't won in Cagliari for 26 years, and on this occasion they had to contend with gale force winds as well as the informed Sardinians. Napoli in blue dominated from the start, and Cagliari old boy Daniel Fonseca was determined to mark his return with a goal, with the aid of the wind. Moments later, Carboni's cross was cleared by Ferricano. And from the resulting corner, Fonseca struck the frame of the goal. Policano shot wastefully over the bar. Jonas Turn then tried his luck from long range. And after 35 minutes, Napoli goalkeeper Giovanni Galli touched the ball for the very first time in the match. But the fun and games occurred in the second half. Daniel Fonseca, having already received a yellow card, received a second for dissent. A disappointing homecoming for the Uruguayan international on his first return to Cagliari. Napoli were hit with the further expulsion of Careca before Francescoli tapped the home side ahead after 64 minutes. It was Herrera whose volley struck the woodwork, but the ball fell kindly for his fellow Uruguayan. It's Francescoli's 3rd goal of the season. Napoli's 9 men were still worthy of a point. Yelpo somehow keeping out Zola's efforts. He made 2 attempts though. Then Herrera had a late chance of doubling Cagliari's lead. And Napoli's frustration was only increased with Yelpo's last-ditch save. 1-0 to Cagliari, they move into 6th place. Fiorentina in purple was soon off to a perfect start against Juventus. Brian Laudrup breaking the offside trap to finish in style. Laudrup will have been even happier to score on the day he received the Danish Player of the Year award. Juventus, without 4 key players from the kick-off, were left without a 5th shortly after the half-hour mark. Jürgen Kohler's desperate lunge on Baiano forced the referee to brandish the German's 2nd yellow card of the game. 2 yellows equals a red. Juventus were fortunate to have an outstanding goalkeeper in Peruzzi. Here he is denying Stefan Effenberg. 8 minutes into the second half, and Fiorentina's ability to break Juve's offside trap produced their second goal. Baiano sprints clear, and his cross is diverted into his own net by 17-year-old Luigi Sarto. Man of the match Effenberg provides the accurate pass for Baiano, who found acres of space and then plenty of time in which to deliver his cross. A moment of panic for the young defender making his league debut. Juventus were completely overwhelmed by Fiorentina's attacking display, and their fans were left wondering whether they were about to witness Juve's biggest defeat for years. Brian Laudrup teased Dino Baggio before crossing for Baiano. Peruzzi on hand to keep the result respectable. And then again from Effenberg's shot. Juve can kiss goodbye to their championship hopes, while Fiorentina's hopes for a UEFA Cup place are rekindled. A win for Milan at home to Udinese seemed a formality, at least on paper. The champions even found a space in the side for Savicevic, and almost an ally in Udinese's defence. Milan were always in command, Van Basten going close here. And after 32 minutes, they opened the scoring. The delightful four-man move culminated with Albertini's first goal in 15 games. Evani back from injury, Van Basten and Savicevic were all involved. Albertini's decisive strike giving Di Sarno little chance. 1-0 to Milan. Van Basten then decided he needed no help from his friends, but Di Sarno was up to the task. Good stop from the goalkeeper here. And if you're wondering how to break Milan's offside trap, then here's the answer. After Delano's fine run, the ball was guided in by Balbo. Milan were without the suspended Franco Baresi, and they claimed that the Argentinian was in an offside position. Perhaps they have a case. Savicevic and Papin combined in the second half. And on the hour mark, Udinese almost took a shock lead. Balbo was clearly in an offside position, but on this occasion the champions survived the scare. Savicevic aimed to impress following a 7-match absence, but found an added obstacle in the form of an upright. Van Basten's last-minute header was again kept out by the woodwork to give Udinese their first away point of the season. It finished 1-1.
More goals to come, but now it's competition time here on Gazzetta Football Italia. And your chance to win a trip to Italy, a specially designed old-style Italian club shirt, and 5 footballs. Just answer a simple question by ringing us on 0891 333 444. Our live game tomorrow comes from the Olympic Stadium in Rome, where Lazio entertain Inter Milan in the game of the day. In their last home match, especially because of the opposition. But who were Lazio's rivals on that day? Was it A, AC Milan, B, Roma, or C, Juventus? And remember, we always give the answer somewhere in the program. Now, the first correct caller picked out by our computer when lines close next Thursday goes into a winner's draw for the dream trip for 2 to the Italian Cup final in June. They'll also take home one of these specially designed old-style Italian club shirts from one of the leading Serie A teams. 5 runners-up win one of these newly designed footballs. They'll get copies of our Football Italia music entitled I'm Stronger Now, recorded by Definitive 2 on the Deconstruction label. It's now available on record, CD and cassette. They'll also take home copies of our new Football Italia magazine, which simply everyone is reading. Last week, we asked you to name the manager of Fiorentina. The answer? Gigi Radici. And the lucky winner is Mr. Thomas Tracy of Derby. He takes home an Italian club shirt and goes into our cup final trip playoff. And these 5 runners-up all receive copies of our Football Italia music and our terrific football magazine. Finally, remember you can get full details of all our competitions by turning to page 465 of 4Tel, Channel 4's teletext service. thanks to a Peter Eriksson goal 3 minutes from time, the Champions Cup B League table looks just like this, with Milan clear favourites to go through. But who will they meet? Well, probably Marseille or Glasgow Rangers, with their clash in France next April probably decisive. In the UEFA Cup, Roma made hard work of it before reaching the quarter-finals for the third year in a row. With a comfortable 3-1 first leg cushion against Galatasaray, they increased this in Turkey after only 7 minutes. Beyratin failed to hold Hessel's shot, and Caniggia, in for the suspended Aldair, knocked it in. It was the Argentinian striker's third goal in 3 successive away trips in Europe. It took the Turks 20 minutes to regain their composure, and after Stumpf headed on from a corner, Mustafa scrambled home the equaliser. It was a solo effort from Thomas Hessler that put Roma back in front 2 minutes into the second half. He took on the fullback, checked back, beat the goalkeeper with a lovely curling shot. 5-2 up on aggregate, and with 2 away goals, Roma should have been home and dry. But they allowed Mustafa to grab his second after Youssef had hit the post. And 15 minutes from time, Arif, the substitute, came on and put the Turks ahead with a low shot after some poor defending from Roma. There were no more gifts though, and the Italians held on to go through 5-4 on aggregate. Juventus also went through, but in much more convincing style. They'd done the hard work in Czechoslovakia, where they won the first leg 2-1, but they completed the formalities in great style. Gianluca Vialli put them on the way after just 6 minutes, a delightful 20-yard shot. And it was 2-0 just 20 minutes later. It was Di Canio who set it up, his clever run and pullback giving Casiraghi the chance he gratefully accepted. 2 minutes into the second half, Juventus made absolutely sure of victory. Muller racing clear to round the goalkeeper and shoot into an empty net. The German turned provider next, placing a free kick for Vialli to power home with his head. Having done his work, Vialli went off to be replaced by Ravanelli, and it was he who scored number 5. Di Canio robbed the goalkeeper as he attempted to dribble out of his own area, and although the first shot was saved, Ravanelli made sure. It was a pity that because of a transport strike in Turin and Juve's poor recent run, only 5,000 spectators turned up. No European action for Paul Gascoigne this week, but still plenty for him to tell us about.
I am sitting in my living room, just relaxing after another hard weekend. The weekend went quite well for me. Well, say quite well. My game wasn't much on the Sunday, but I scored another goal, and that's 5 goals in 5 games. So I'm really pleased. I can only hope and just keep on going. But I had to come off about 10 minutes ago. I got a dead leg, and then I got another one in the nerve, and I've got a bruise on my back of the leg, that big. So I haven't been trained for 3 days. I got back trained today with a little bit of a limp, but it's not too bad. And hopefully, come Sunday, this is the last game of the season, Sunday, before the season breaks up. And I think it's about 20 days doing nothing. Really looking forward to it. Christmas plans, we're going to have 2 days off on the 14th and 15th. Then we're going to, hopefully, we're back in train, we've got another friendly, and then I'm hopefully got the 21st off to the 26th. And I'm going to spend maybe a couple of days in Euro Disney. I don't know. And then I'm going to spend about 4 days in London and Newcastle, where I'll have the chance to see all the beautiful shops in London and pop up in Newcastle, the Excelsior, for a pint. I've just come back from London. I went to London on Monday, and I went to see with Bianca Mason, and I went to see the Beauty and the Beast film. Fantastic film. Had a lump in my throat. I can't believe it. Bianca was crying after 30 seconds. Incredible. Really, really enjoyed it. Really good. Had a McDonald's. Went to a TGI's. Had a couple of cocktails. Really enjoyed it. I think I celebrated my goal more than I should have. The game on Sunday was another controversial ending. Lusardi scored a great header for me. He got up really well, put the ball in the back of the net, and it was the same against Roma, where the ball was supposed to have went in and didn't go in. For me, it's the same as Roma. 2 of them were goals, and the referee gave the goal against Pescara. It was a goal, and very, very good. The only disappointing thing about the match was the linesman, one of the bombs went off. They threw these fireworks bomb things, and one of them went off where the linesman blew the linesman up. Tomorrow I've got two important things happening for me at the match. One is obviously the match against Inter Milan, which is going to be a tough match. But the other, I think, is incredible. There's a young girl, she's been in a coma for a while, I don't know how long it's been. And she's obviously Lazio daft. And soon she come out of the coma, the minute she come out of the coma, she said, "Where's Paul Gascoigne?" She's going to be going to the match on Sunday, and I'm really going to be looking forward to meeting her. Okay, Sunday, we have Inter, very, very strong team. One of my favourite players in Italy is not going to be playing, Scalacci, little terrier like a bulldog. And also the ex-Lazio player, Rumsosa, is not going to play, so that's two lethal forwards. They're not going to be playing. Inter's a very good team, a very tough team. James Richardson has been in Inter lately, just interviewing the players and having a look at the reports, how they've been coming on. But more of that after the break. Ciao.
Welcome back. Tomorrow's big match preview coming up, but first, the rest of last Sunday's Serie A goals.
Paul Gascoigne's recovery from a knee injury appears complete following this masterpiece in Pescara. Gascoigne avoids 4 desperate tackles, and once again his finishing is impeccable. Pescara felt they should have been awarded a penalty minutes before the interval. Lusardi's sly tug was unpunished. But the home side levelled the scores a minute after the restart. Borgonovo steering home Allegri's cross. The former Fiorentina marksman now has 4 for this season in Serie A. Lazio's next attack inevitably involved Beppe Signori. His shot deflected just wide. The tension increased in the last 20 minutes. The linesman was struck by a missile thrown from the home fans. But Lazio went ahead for the second time 2 minutes later. Signori's goal-scoring instincts came to Lazio's aid once again. Most players would have instinctively volleyed with the right foot, not Signori. Actually, is all left-footed. Pescara fought back immediately. Fiori demonstrates why Lazio have offered £7 million for the services of the international goalkeeper Marchigiani. Allegri was on hand for the equaliser. Though Pescara seemed destined for Serie B, Allegri's future may still rest in Serie A. Milan have already expressed an interest. Pescara's search for the winning goal in injury time, Dunga firing just wide. But in the 93rd minute, the contentious issue of the game. Lusardi's header hits the underside of the bar, but does it cross the goal line? The referee doesn't need a Russian linesman to signal the goal, which no doubt will be talked about in Pescara as long as Jeff Hurst's goal in the 1966 World Cup final. Final score 3-2 to Lazio. It's Lazio's first win in 4 Serie A games. Parma in white are on something of a roll. 3 consecutive wins as they face Roma. Ballotta prevents an early Roma goal. Rizzitelli did manage a goal late on in this game, but not here. Luck didn't favour the brave. Roma was soon proving they could put Parma's goal under threat from long as well as short distance. Piacentini then almost caught the Parma defence flat-footed with this astute volley to the head of Rizzitelli. Parma did come out of their shell eventually, this one aimed straight at Zinetti. Mihailovic comes alive at these dead ball situations for Roma, but still goalless. And now how to upset a referee. Lesson 1, take a goal kick while the ball's still moving. 2, put the ball in the correct position, but ask the referee if he's happy it's on the correct blade of grass. And when he books you for sarcasm, applaud his decision. And hey presto, yellow soon turns into red. Signor Trentalange wins my award for the most sensitive and eccentric referee of the week. Thomas Hessler continued to put Parma's goal under increasing pressure. Whatever happened to the good old tap-in? Parma had caught the long-range bug. Grun trying his luck. Now this may look like the opening goal of the match, but in fact Hessler's shot is fractionally wide. Reserve goalkeeper Fimiani might have just got a hand to it. Roma were getting closer and closer. Giannini only inches away from Roma's first goal. Salzano kept blasting away, hoping for an opening, which eventually came a minute from full time. Hessler's cross, and Rizzitelli heads in his second goal of the season. I suppose it was inevitable that Roma would get a breakthrough after all their pressure. The irony is Rizzitelli is hardly Roma's tallest player on the pitch. Final score 1-0 to Roma. 2 wins and a draw now for Roma in their last 3 games. Maurizio Gans of Atalanta gave his old club Sampdoria something to think about 28 minutes into the meeting of the two clubs in Genoa. Des Walker is bypassed by Bourdin's clever through ball. Gans never managed to score for Sampdoria in his time at the club. Next he was inflicting more misery on his old team with a second goal just before half-time. This well-flighted free kick was his 8th goal of the season. Second half now, Sampdoria do have the ball in the nets, but Lombardo is offside. Someone will have to explain to him that he's not allowed to stand on the goal line. Then Lombardo stole behind the back of the Atalanta defence, but then shot wastefully over the top. Sampdoria's first authentic goal came after an hour, scored by Mancini. It's one Vialli would have been proud of. Sampdoria haven't been the same team since Vialli went to Juventus. Atalanta made the game safe 2 minutes later, and Bowdy beats Des Walker to the ball to score powerfully. Sampdoria have been leaking goals all season. This was their 18th in 11 games. Sampdoria did give themselves hopes of a revival when Montero, the Uruguayan, fouled Mancini. And Carini made it 3-2 from the penalty. Sampdoria came within a fingertip of an equaliser. First Carini has his shot blocked, and then Jugovic is denied by the reflexes of Ferron. And if you're wondering what Sampdoria are doing for Christmas, here's your answer. It's Des Walker, who has what appears to be a white tea towel on his head. Goalkeeper Nucciari is a Freddie Mercury lookalike. Hell's Angels Sampdoria 2, Atalanta 3. Torino stole the show from the first curtain against Foggia. And 9 passes swapped amongst 5 players in the opening 14 seconds of the match. Torino's pre-match team talk must have been something else. Silenzi makes it 1-0. All 5 Torino players in the Foggia penalty area were involved in the move which led to the first goal. Foggia should have drawn level here. Caini supplies the cross and Roy almost unlocks Torino's defence. Biagioni wastefully shoots over the top. There's a suspicion of handball about Foggia's equaliser. Bresciani appears to handle the ball. De Biagio hands Foggia a lifeline. De Biagio's just returned from suspension. This was his second goal of the season. Final score 1-1. Torino's title challenge has faltered in recent weeks.
Well, those results leave AC Milan even more firmly ahead in Serie A. 4 points ahead of their local rivals Inter. Juventus stay third despite their defeat against Fiorentina. Pescara are firmly rooted at the foot of the table, and despite their 3-0 win over Inter, Ancona are still in trouble, along with Napoli and Foggia. Beppe Signori's strike against Pescara puts him level in the goal-scoring charts, alongside Marco Van Basten. In Serie B, the top 2 sides met last week. It was Marco Paccioni who proved the difference between them. Morello played him in for the first goal after 48 minutes, his cross shot beating Cagneyaro. At was Sacchetti who provided the cross for Paccioni to score the second with a strong left footer to clinch a vital 2-0 victory for Reggiana in the 62nd minute. Reggiana now have a clear lead at the top of Serie A B from Cremonese, with Venezia dropping into third place. Ascoli and Cosenza, who meet this weekend, contest fourth spot. Remember, 4 teams go up. But the most intriguing, and the one we'll be showing live here on Channel 4 tomorrow, is Lazio against.
Christmas is coming, and all over the world, good children strain to hear the sound of sleigh bells in the snow. Right here outside Milan at the headquarters of Internazionale, they're in need of some of that festive cheer. All sorts of things seem to be going wrong for the team. They may be missing Ruben Sosa and Darko Panchev in their big game tomorrow against Lazio. They've got the news from France that Toto Schillaci won't be rejoining the squad until February '93 at the earliest. And finally, the squad is still reeling from their 3-0 disaster against Ancona last Sunday. Let's investigate.
And it's a cheery enough scene that greets us inside Inter's brand new headquarters. At a sponsor's lunch, a bicycle has been raffled, and with cruel irony, it goes not to worthy recipient Darko Panchev, but instead team captain Giuseppe Bergami. Despite his good fortune, though, Bergami's mood is grim.
Purtroppo abbiamo Schillaci che è infortunato grave, è già da un po' che fuori e rimarrà fuori ancora molto. Sosa non sappiamo ancora se potrà rientrare per la partita di domenica contro la Lazio, ma noi speriamo. Veniamo da una settimana difficile, moralmente soprattutto, perché abbiamo perso 3-0 con l'Ancona. Se vincevamo potevamo avvicinarci ancora di più al Milan, perché aveva pareggiato in casa con l'Udinese. Ma purtroppo questo non è successo e, come ho detto prima, moralmente siamo un po' a terra, però dobbiamo riprenderci subito perché domenica c'è una grande partita.
It won't be easy, though. A game against newly promoted Ancona had hitherto been seen as Serie A's equivalent of seal clubbing. However, whatever presumptions Inter may have had
Disappeared in the mud last Sunday as they lost not only the match but also Darko Panchev out with 6 stitches and also Walter Zenga sent off and probably disqualified for tomorrow's game. However, the worst news of all came on Tuesday. Salvatore Schillaci has restrained his leg and Juventus. Without him, Inter have managed just 3 goals in their last 4 games.
Lui è importante, anche se quest'anno non ha segnato molto, però a mio avviso l'importante è che uno della squadra riesce a fare gol. Non è importante che se fa gol Fontolano o se fa gol Schillaci, può fare gol anche Bergomi o Ferri, per dire che sono difensori. L'importante è che uno della squadra riesca a metterla dentro.
Brutto momento della carriera, però piano piano tornerà subito, no?
Ormai noi ci conosciamo da tanto e bravo perché questa adesso non è che parla molto perché assolutamente si è fatto male, è un po' giù di morale.
Certainly these aren't the best of times for the Sicilian. Apart from his injury, his divorce from Rita Schillaci has just become public. For Schillaci, though, his somewhat chill manner is nothing to do with the difficult circumstances.
Sono sempre stato così, quindi non è che ci sia stato un cambiamento rispetto agli anni. Il mio è un carattere così, un carattere chiuso, però con i miei amici sono socievole, quindi non è che c'è sempre un rapporto eccezionale, un rapporto di confidenza, quindi si scherzi. Però quando si lavora uno pensa soltanto a lavorare e basta. Qui si sta benissimo, c'è un bellissimo centro, dei campi eccezionali, quindi dove si può lavorare con serietà, con serenità e poi cambiando ambiente ci sono stimoli nuovi, quindi diciamo che per adesso va tutto bene tranne l'infortunio della gamba.
Signor Schillaci, prima grazie per darci questo tempo. Vorrei chiedere, prima cosa, quando puoi tornare alla squadra?
Beh, adesso devo stare un mese lontano dai campi, quindi fare le cure, le terapie.
Schillaci's absence has finally opened a place in the side for Darko Panchev, the multi-million-pound Macedonian, who's so far been the biggest disappointment of Inter's season.
Ma sai, gli stranieri quando arrivano in Italia si vede anche in passato grandi giocatori come Platini hanno avuto molto tempo prima di ambientarsi. Poi si sa che se un attaccante non riesce a sbloccarsi, a far gol, dopo subentra quella frenesia di segnare sempre che poi ti crea appunto dei problemi.
There probably is the sum of little things that all together makes him incapable of doing what he's usually was doing in Red Star. Difficulties on getting acquainted with the team, with the new approach of the game, with the fact that nobody can have one man just sitting in the 16-meter area and scoring. Everybody should participate automatically to the game.
At Red Star Belgrade, Panchev was the original goalmouth bomber. Here at Inter, though, his fixed forward role has little place in a team best equipped to striking on the counter-attack. Indeed, 10 different Inter players have so far found the net this season. Panchev isn't one of them. By contrast, the swift and mobile Sosa could be the perfect weapon for Inter against Lazio tomorrow, if he can return in time from injury.
La ferita ormai è chiusa, è rimasto solo un po' di sangue ancora nel muscolo. Il dottor mi ha detto che continua a fare allenamento così e sabato o venerdì vediamo già di essere in campo o no. Io penso che se tutto va bene come adesso ci sarò. Li tengo tanto perché contro la ex squadra mia e niente, una partita molto importante, noi abbiamo perso, loro hanno vinto, andare a festa a Natale vincendo sarebbe bellissimo, così facciamo una Natale tranquilla, no?
Di solito poi anche l'ex fa sempre il gol, no? Quindi adesso vedremo in settimana se il mister riesce a recuperarlo. Con Sosa abbiamo giocato 30 minuti nel derby contro il Milan e abbiamo messo in crisi sia io che lui la difesa del Milan per la nostra velocità. Speriamo di recuperarlo perché è una pedina molto importante per noi.
Inter have Lazio's defence in their sights, all £12 million worth of it. It's already let by 21 goals this season, the fourth worst figure in Serie A. However, at Inter, they're all too aware that Lazio are also the side who possess Signori, the division's leading scorer, and Paul Gascoigne, the player whose growing prowess was demonstrated yet again on Sunday with this extraordinary goal against Pescara.
Ho visto il gol di Domenica che ne ha driblati 27 e poi è andato in gol.
Un bellissimo gol che ha fatto a Pescara e niente, un bravo ragazzo.
Molto bello, favoloso, stupendo, molto bello, bravo Gascoigne.
Gascoigne è un giocatore simpaticissimo, è anche un fuori casa perché gioca benissimo, io ho visto fare una rete, un bellissimo gol gli ho visto fare, lui ha queste qualità, queste caratteristiche, quindi è uno che ci può mettere in difficoltà.
È un giocatore che è un po' il leader della Lazio, è quello che la trascina, quindi se è in giornata può dare quella carica anche ai compagni. Senza dubbio è il giocatore che l'Inter deve temere di più e quindi tenere in considerazione sotto il profilo dell'attenzione.
La Lazio è un'ottima squadra, oltre a Signori che è capocannoniere, poi quest'anno è esploso alla grande anche i giochi in nazionale. C'è questo Gascoigne che ha fatto un gol bellissimo contro il Pescara, da non dimenticare anche Dol, Fuser che sono ottimi giocatori, quindi per noi è un impegno ancora maggiore e dobbiamo stare concentrati al massimo.
Per noi è una partita difficile, come ti ho detto, perché loro stanno giocando molto bene. Dobbiamo essere tranquilli, non andare troppo all'attacco subito perché giustamente perderemo la partita subito. Speriamo al contropiede o fare una bella partita per poter vincere, come ti ho detto, e dopo andare in vacanza tranquillo, no?
So, will Inter get the happy Christmas they're hoping for? Will they hang on to their second place in Serie A? Well, barring a miracle cure to Darko Panchev, and I think most people do, it really does hinge on Ruben Sosa's return. As is usual with these things, they won't be announcing till the
Very last minute whether he'll be playing tomorrow, but if he does, you can see him here on Channel 4. Our last live game of 1992, Lazio versus Inter.